Okay, so the first day of OTAs, the Eagles open up with a rookie battle. Plus, we get an update on when we'll see live coverage of OTAs on the field. That's not all. Some new vocal leaders. An Eagle wide receiver decided to retire. What does it mean for wide receiver 3? And depth at outside wide receiver. But first, A.J. Brown having fun with his teammates, trolling their bowling. First up, Jalen Hurts rocking a shirt that says, "Be more prepared than anyone else." You gotta love it. This is actually a decent shot. He left one pin. AJ just having fun with all his brothers on the team. Second shot, Hurts close but no cigar. The best one of the night, though. Nolan Smith with an absolute gutter ball takes the walk of shame. AJ does not show himself bowling, but I do believe he's a good bowler. That's why he's having fun with everybody. Paris Campbell gets one pin. I guess it's better than a gutter ball, but A.J. Brown ain't gonna let nobody live it down. Again, it's muted because you don't want to record what people say and put that out there. BG gets one pin to the right, does the walk of shame. A.J. comes with a crazy meme, and then he records BG again, and it's a talent to get one pin on the right and one pin on the left. That is crazy bad luck for Brandon Graham. Here's a couple more Eagles. I'm not sure who that is. Heck, I'm not a good baller myself, so I can't talk. Watch his feet, AJ says. He does the Fred Flintstone twinkle toes. Let me know in the comment section, who is that? I'm not even sure who that is. And then he finishes with the, "I said forget about it." What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Tall Podcast. And today, as always, we got a lot to get into. But before we do that, Eagle Nation, can I ask y'all for a quick favor? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So as we all know, yesterday was the first day of Eagles OTAs, rookies and veterans. Not much footage on day one. Today, May 21st, they have off. But tomorrow, May 22nd, the Swoop Scoop tweeted, "Report, Wednesday at 12:45 p.m., the Eagles OTA practice will be open to reporters." So Eagle OTA Day 2, we should definitely have some live coverage. Speaking of day one of OTAs, shout out to Jordan Mailata for welcoming the rookies. This man has come a long way from rugby to now one of the best left tackles in the NFL and a leader not just on the offensive line, but in that locker room.
Hey, way to compete. Hey, way to compete. Way to compete, man. Let's finish the day off. Let's finish the day off, man. Way to compete, rookies. Welcome to the team, man. Let's go, baby. Compete on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Breaking the huddle, leading the group. This is stuff he learned from playing alongside of guys like Jason Kelce, who had this to say about his first evaluation of Jordan Mailata per Philadelphia Eagles Central. "If I'm being honest, Mailata looked absolutely terrible, but his will to learn, the veteran leadership around him, and being enrolled in Stoutland University has this man leading other vets and youngsters the right way." We know Lane Johnson's a leader in the locker room and on that offensive line, but he's more of a silent leader. Maybe Kelce had a conversation with Mailata about him stepping up to be that vocal guy. All I know is I love what I'm seeing. Jason Kelce also told John Clark, "I feel great about this season. Quite frankly, I'm really upset that I'm not going to be out there with them. I think very strongly it's going to be a phenomenal season for the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm looking forward to watching that." And as we said multiple times, great culture is built in the locker room from the beginning. And we talked about Saquon Barkley in all these competition videos. He's front and center, ready to take a leadership role on his new team. But he ain't the only one. Notice Devin White up in the front, hyping his defensive guy up. He's also been in the front of some other competition videos. I didn't show the Nakobe Dean one, but he was there. Although Grant Calcaterra beat Nakobe Dean and who can hang on a pull-up bar the longest. This is important. Saquon Barkley, multi-year captain of the Giants, first year on the Eagles. Devin White, multi-year captain of the Buccaneers, first year with the Eagles. That is going to help if times get sticky. I think with the new coaching staff, the new leaders, and most of the old leaders going through it. As Brian Dawkins said yesterday, if you missed yesterday's video, go back. B-Dawk had a lot to say about this team and Fangio. It should pop up after this. But going through something like that definitely changes you. So there's a lot of great leaders and talent on this team, and we get to see it open up tomorrow at 12:45. But hold up, we talked about Jordan Mailata's leadership, Saquon Barkley, and Devin White being front and centered. We got to talk about the person who won the competition. UDFA Gabe Hall out of Baylor. Just last week, I did a video saying he's the one UDFA I absolutely think is going to make the roster just because of D-tackle depth and his versatility to stop the run and get at the quarterback. I'm not saying because he won a push-up competition, he's going to make the roster, but it's just the drive you see in this competition based on his film. He should have been drafted on day 3. Don't know what happened, but just like Eli Ricks was a UDFA that should have been drafted and made the Eagles team, Gabe Hall is the UDFA I'm signing my name to make the roster, and it's starting early on the first day of OTAs. Now, of course, I can't wait to see the rookies and guys who have microscopes on them step up. But y'all know I've been a huge Nolan Smith fan, and Bleeding Green Nation wrote up a report that he's expecting a breakout year starting with OTAs for Nolan Smith. Despite being a first-round pick of the Eagles in 2023, pass rusher Nolan Smith saw limited playing time as a rookie. He played just 16% of the defensive snaps during the regular season, finishing with 18 tackles, a sack, and 4 quarterback pressures. However, Smith was more impactful in Philly's playoff loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played 16 snaps just in that game and recorded 4 tackles, a half a sack, and a quarterback hit. Perhaps he should have seen more significant playing time earlier than he did, but what's the use of crying over spilt milk? He should get a lot of work in OTAs and minicamp to see if he can become a prominent member of the Eagles pass rush rotation, which I wholeheartedly believe, and if you do too, drop Nolan Smith's name in the comment section and don't forget to hit that like button. I'm actually interested in seeing what this D-line looks like under Fangio, for a couple reasons. One, there's so much potential, but there's a lot of youth. Sweat really only got double-digit sacks 1 year. Gotta see more from him. Bryce Huff only did it 1 year, although he only played half the snaps, which is pretty impressive. Nolan Smith, who I believe in, but I gotta still see it before I can 100% put a check behind it. And BG's the lone veteran who we want to rotate in, but we need to keep his snaps around 35 to 45% to get the most productive BG. That's why if you tell me that the Eagles reach out to Calais Campbell, who I know is turning 38 and it sounds so old, but what he did last year, 6.5 sacks, really productive in a rotation position, is exactly what the Eagles need. Huff, Smith, and Sweat are going to do the heavy lifting. They're going to be playing 60 to 70% of the snaps. BG can't be the only rotation piece playing 30-something. I think Calais can come in and give you 30-something as well and be productive when he's playing. Moving on to the offensive side of the ball, an Eagles wide receiver decides to retire. Adam Schefter tweeted after 9 NFL seasons, Eagles wide receiver Devontae Parker has decided to retire, he said Monday night. Remember, he signed with us in March. A couple months later, he decided to retire on the first day of OTAs. However, he did say, as much as he looked forward to his time with the Eagles, Parker decided the time had come to spend more time with his family. That includes his 4 children. So I can't be mad. I was going to make some jokes. He's scared of Anaya Smith, Paris Campbell. But if it's for your family, more power to you, bro. That being said, who's going to be the starting wide receiver 3 for the Philadelphia Eagles? Anaya Smith or Paris Campbell? I like both their chances. And even if the Eagles go sign another veteran wide receiver, which we're going to talk about shortly, I like Campbell or Smith for wide receiver 3 because of how much they've played in the slot. Campbell has played 69.7% of his snaps in the slot in the NFL, while Anaya Smith played 70.1% of his snaps in the slot in college. So could these guys line up once or twice outside in a game? to be creative and mix match things under Kellen Moore? Of course, but they're primarily slot guys. So, what if we get an injury to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, where they need to miss 3-4 games? Who do we trust to play outside the majority of the time? Because right now, per Jeff Kerr, the Eagles' depth chart at outside receiver with Devontae Parker retiring, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Johnny Wilson, and Joseph Ngata. Do you believe Joseph Ngata or Johnny Wilson are ready to play 3 or 4 games outside if needed? That is why if we want to bring in more competition for the slot, you go get a guy like Hunter Renfrow, who's still on the market. Don't know how, don't know why, but he will give you competition for the wide receiver 3 spot. If you want to get a guy who's a veteran who can back up an outside wide receiver, Smitty or Brown, if they end up getting injured. You got a guy like Michael Thomas out there who has played in the slot, can come in if needed, if a wide receiver 3 gets hurt, but also spent the majority of his time in New Orleans, outside, catching passes from Drew Brees. Why not give him a call if you want to get a veteran guy who can step in for an outside wide receiver? If worst case scenario comes, Michael Thomas, we're not going to ask him to play a lot. He's the Julio Jones of 2024. And again, we don't need Michael Thomas in the slot if Campbell and Smith live up to their role. But then, just in case, you have a backup plan for A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Hopefully not for the whole season, because Michael Thomas ain't good enough to get you through a whole season. Maybe a game or 2 if needed. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section. I absolutely love hearing from y'all. Drop the muscle emoji, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, all that good stuff. And until next time, you know what time it is. We out.